Hi everyone, I'm Natalie from CantiLeiver and welcome to this strength and stretch session with Rejuvenate8Physio. We are delighted to be joined by Louise from Rejuvenate8Physio, Mia from Park Wrekin, Lissie from City of Birmingham and Frank from Amber Valley. We're going to be running a giveaway all week where the winner will be picked at random from social media posts that tag CantiLeiver and Rejuvenate8Physio and use the hashtag strength and stretch. If you have a private account, please direct message us with your videos and pictures of how you get on with the session. You could win a Rejuvenate8Physio goodie bag and a £50 CantiLeiver voucher. Have a great session.
So first we need to do a little warm-up session to wake up your muscles. Is everyone ready to go? Let's have a stand up and start. The first thing we're going to do is just start by jogging on the spot. A nice gentle movement, arms start swinging. We imagine we're running around that gymnastics floor. So we get our heart pumping and our blood circulating around our body. Fantastic, girls. Keep going for me. And now what we're going to do is start lifting those knees a little bit higher. So they're picking up further towards your chest. So it's like you're running faster around that floor. Brilliant. Really pump those arms, swing those arms like we're sprinting down that vault runway. Amazing. And now let's do some heel kicks. So where we flick our legs back so our heels move towards our bottom. You can either have your hands behind your back, so you're kicking towards your hands, or you can keep those arms moving. Super. Keep going, girls. We want these legs to be nice and warm. Fantastic. So now we're going to move on to some toe walking. So let's stand up nice and tall, arms out to the side, rise up onto your tiptoes so you're on releve, and as we walk we're going to smoothly move your chin down to look down towards the floor, so your chin moves towards your chest, and then lift your eyes and have a look up towards the ceiling as you walk forwards and back. That's it. Nice smooth movements. Try and stay nice and balanced up on that releve, forwards and back. Good. We'll do one more length, forwards and back. Super stuff. Stretch those elbows and fingers, knees nice and tight. Super. The next exercise is a tightrope walk. So arms out to the side again. You're going to place one foot so the heel moves in front of the other. And as we do this, we're going to turn our neck to look from right and then smoothly round to look over the left shoulder. So imagine you're balancing on that tightrope. Beautiful. And you're just having a look around to loosen that neck, shoulders down. Arms stretched. Good. So imagine you're on that tightrope, Frank. So your toes move behind your heel. Fantastic. Amazing. Okay. Now we are going to go back to toe walking, but this time we're going to walk from side to side. And as we do that, you're going to swing your arms across your chest and out to the side. So rise up onto those tiptoes, keep those ankles squeezed, and off we go. Swing those arms in and out. Lift those chins, be proud to be gymnasts. Think about squeezing your core nice and tight, so we're waking up those stomach muscles. Brilliant. And the last one of this sequence, we're going to go back to tightrope walking. And as we walk forwards, we're going to swing our arms forwards. As we walk backwards, we'll swing the arms behind us and backwards. Keep those elbows and fingers nice and stretched and bring them close to your ears as you go. Imagine you're on that tightrope, walking forwards and back. Beautiful stretch, Mia. Sit, girls. Tight elbows, fingers as long as they can be, cores nice and tight. Amazing. So now if everyone comes into the middle of our mats, we're going to move on to some squats, to some heel raises. So position your feet hip width apart. That's it, just slightly further back for us, Mia. Fabulous. And we're going to squat down so our knees bend, keeping our kneecaps lined up with where our laces would be on our shoes. And then we're going to drive up so our knees straighten and we rise up onto our tiptoes. Let's try 5 to 10 of those. So you lower back into the squat, heels go down on the floor, and you drive up. So your knees straighten, you rise onto your tiptoes. Try and keep those ankles as still as possible. Go at a pace that's comfortable for you. You can keep your arms by your side or lift them up by your ears, but we just want to start working these leg muscles. Excellent, girls. Very, very nice. We'll do 2 more. Super. And now we're going to move onto a lunge. So again, you'll need your feet to be placed hip width apart, and you're going to step your right leg forwards and drop your back knee down to the floor. So if you watch Lissie, she'll step forwards, drop her back knee down, her body stays up nice and tall. Then she drives forwards off the back leg and picks the knee up towards her chest and hugs it in nice and tight. And then steps that left leg back and drops the knee down to the floor. Super. Try 5 on each side for me. Keep your core strong and tight so we're not wobbling from side to side. Go at a pace that feels nice and comfortable for you. We're just waking up your leg muscles and loosening off your hips. Fantastic. And then let's swap legs. So you're leading with the other side. As you hug that knee to your chest, point those toes, stand up nice and tall, try and stay balanced so we're not wobbling from side to side. Amazing. Very good, girls. We'll do 1 more. Super. So now what we need to do is loosen these ankles and knees a little bit more. And we're going to do this by doing something called a duck walk. So you squat down, so your bottom's close to the floor. You can either have your hands by your side or up by your ears. And you just want to take a few steps forwards, trying to keep your balance. So you roll through the foot as you step. Good, and then backwards. Beautiful, Frank, very nice. So do a couple of lengths forwards and backwards. So these ankles are feeling nice and mobile. Keep those tummies tight. Good, 1 more length. Go at a pace that feels comfortable. Very good, girls. Our next warm-up exercise is a lunge to a T-shape. So you're going to face side on again. You're going to step 1 leg forward, so we drop down into the lunge. Then we drive our weight forwards over our front leg. Our body moves forwards and our back leg lifts. So we make a beautiful tight T-shape and then we drop back into the lunge so our body lifts up. Super. 5 on each leg, girls. So drive that weight forwards. Keep your hips and shoulders square as you do the T-shape. and then lower back into the lunge. Super. Head between your arms so that your upper arms are glued by your ears. Your core muscles are nice and tight. Try and stay as still as possible in that T shape for a couple of seconds so it's working your core as well. And then when you're ready, you can change sides. Excellent. You may find one side is slightly more tricky than the other, and that's okay. If you need to hold on to something to help yourself balance, that's absolutely fine. Good. And when you're done, we'll just come back to standing. Super. Our next exercise is a pike walk mixed with some bounces. So if you position yourself in a pike stand, only go as far as feels comfortable. If you're not that flexible, you'll need your fingertips on the floor, but you can also bend your knees slightly to make it easier. And we're going to take 4 steps forwards in a pike walk. Good. Then we'll bend our knees so our bottom moves closer to the floor, and we'll do 4 bounces up and down. Good. Then we push back to pike and we do 4 steps backwards. Fantastic, girls. And once you've reached the start of your mat, go back to your bounces before you go forwards. So it's 4 pike steps and 4 bounces. Very nice, girls. Good. When everyone's back, we will wake up your core muscles. Super. So again, we're going to fold down to a pike stand, and then we're going to walk our hands forwards in an inchworm activity until we reach front support. That's it. Once you've reached that position, then you're going to use your right hand to tap your left shoulder, trying to keep your balance, and then switch over so your left hand touches your right shoulder. You can then walk your feet in towards pike. Good, and then back out. So your feet walk away from your hands. There we go. And every time you hit the plank position, you do 2 taps of your shoulders. Super. Let's do a few lengths of that so our stomach muscles are nice and woken up. Think about your plank shapes being in the straight line from your heels to your shoulders. No archy backs. Very nice, girls. Super. So when you finish the next one, we will do one last exercise. Good. And this is to really get our legs going. We're going to do some squats to jumps, okay? So you're going to squat down and explode up in the air. Just be careful if you're lifting your arms that you don't touch the ceiling, okay? So when you're ready, girls, 10 nice squat downs and explode up to a stretch jump. You can keep your arms by your side if you need to. Push through those Achilles, squats and jump, squats and jump. That's it. Push off that floor. Get those legs working. Amazing. Super. Is everyone feeling nice and warm? Brilliant. We will now move on. So now we are going to do a small Pilates-inspired core strengthening workout to wake up and activate the muscles in your stomach and around your hips. You will notice for these circuits that all girls are placed in a slightly different position. Lissie is going to be sat on the floor. Frank is going to grab her CantiLeiver wobble board, sit in the middle of it, and pop her hands behind her on the floor for a bit of extra support. And Mia will be sat in the middle of her wobble plate with her hands off the floor so she gets the most challenging workout. Okay, girls, are we ready to start? So everyone position themselves for me, and we're going to go into a tucked sit shape where your weight is through the bony parts of your bottom, your sitting bones. Your back is nice and straight. Your shoulders are square and your chins are tucked in. We don't want these chins sticking out like a tortoise. You're then going to pick your feet up off the floor so your thighs are as close to your chest as possible. Your toes are beautifully stretched and pointed, and your feet are at the same height as your knees. Imagine you have a glass resting on each shin and you don't want to spill any of the drink. So that's our tuck sit position. Is everyone comfortable with that? Brilliant. So now we're going to add some movements into this shape so it becomes more challenging. And the first movement we will do is an arm lift and circle. So Lissie and Mia will pick their arms up by their ears and circle them round without letting their back slouch or hunch. And Frank is going to pick one arm up at a time, circle it round and pop it down on the floor before she takes the other arm off. Remember, we're trying to keep these thighs close to our body with a nice straight back. So you're using the muscles in the lower part of your stomach and at the front of your hips. Can everyone feel that start to work? Amazing. So we'll do a couple more goes. Keep those shapes beautifully tight, girls. Amazing. Pop your hands down for a second, and our next shape will be a toe tap where we're moving out of this tabletop position. So our leg moves slightly further forward and our toes tap down to the floor, and then you lift the leg and return to the start position. Beautiful. And we're trying to keep our body nice and still. So you reach one leg slightly away from you, your toes tap the floor, you lift the leg slowly back to the start position. Remember, keep a beautifully tight tuck shape if you can. And make sure when the leg lifts, the feet are at the same height as the knees. Beautiful. That's it, Mia. Reach that leg away from your body and board slightly and then pick it back up. Amazing. This is very good, girls. Now we're going to challenge ourselves a little bit more by adding in a bow and arrow action. So Frank is going to pick her right arm up and place it by her right shin, and the other girls will have both arms by their shins. We're going to set the bow and arrow by bending our elbow and pulling it into our side. Then we twist our body towards that side and we shoot that bow and arrow. The arrow shoots forwards and your arm straightens. Beautiful. And then you can try on the opposite side. This is going to start to work more of your outside stomach muscles. Try and stay up nice and tall with shoulders square. Lift those feet. I know we're starting to get a little bit tired probably now, girls. Remember, at any point, if you need a break, that's absolutely fine. Good. Shall we try one more? And for the last exercise in this circuit, this is the most challenging of them all. We're going to sit ourselves in that beautifully upright, tucked sit position, so our weight is through our sitting bones. And then we're going to try and keep our balance whilst we straighten one knee as straight as possible towards a pike position. And then you bend that leg and return to your starting shape and swap sides. Beautiful. So you can see Lissie's got her hands down on the floor now, which is absolutely fine. She just wants a bit of extra support. Try 5 on each leg, girls, or roughly 30 seconds. You're doing so well. Point those toes, stretch your knees, use these core muscles, and relax. I think it's time for a drink. Okay, girls, so now we're going to do a mini circuit that works your glutes, which are your bottom muscles, and your hamstrings, which are the muscles at the back of your thighs. And to do this, we're going to get you lying on your back on the floor, either with your knees bent up and your feet flat on the floor, or with your feet positioned in the middle of your wobble board. So you want your feet nice and flat, girls, on those wobble boards. Toes down, Frank. There we go. Make sure your feet are hip width apart and your knees are hip width apart. So there's a small gap between both. We're going to squeeze bottom cheeks together. Start to roll our pelvis backwards so our tailbone tucks under and starts to lift up off the floor. So your spine starts to roll up and we make a straight line at the top of the movement from our shoulders to our knees. And then you roll back down one spinal level at a time to the start position. Brilliant. Let's try 30 seconds worth of those. So you squeeze your bottom cheeks together, those glute muscles are activated, you tuck your tailbone under, you smoothly roll your spine up, and then it rolls back down to the floor. As you're doing this, what you don't want to see is an archy back or your rib cage sticking out. So we should have a nice straight line all the way from our shoulders to our knees. Brilliant, girls. We'll do a couple more. And then on the next attempt, you're going to stay up in that shoulder bridge position. Arms stay by side, and we're going to make this a little bit harder by now rising up onto our tiptoes and lowering our heels back down. As you do this, try not to let your body wobble from side to side. So imagine there's a tray of drinks balanced over your hips and you don't want to spill any. Keep those tummy muscles slightly tight so our rib cages are flat and not sticking out. You want to think slightly about having a deer shape rather than an arch shape in your back. And we go smoothly up and down onto our tiptoes, keeping everything nice and straight. Brilliant. On the next one, lower your heels down and keep them there. We stay up in that shoulder bridge position. Think a little bit more dish for me, Frank. Good, excellent. Now you're going to lift those arms up overhead by your ears without allowing your rib cage to stick out. And you're going to circle them around on the floor and back to the start position. So arms up overhead, around and down. Again, we shouldn't see these bottom muscles drop down towards the floor or your hips wobble from side to side. So everything is beautifully tight and squeezed as we lift the arms up and smoothly circle them back round to your sides. Fantastic. We'll have one more go, and that is the glute and hamstring circuit done. Fantastic, girls. We are now going to finish the session with some stretching work. And for this part, of the CantiLeiver and Rejuvenate workout today, you can choose which side of the split you'd like to work. So it can be your right or your left leg. But I would definitely suggest that after the class, you practice this whole routine on the other side to keep your body as symmetrical and flexible and balanced as possible. So when we're ready, we're going to lie on your backs and make a straight line from your head to your toes. So your knees are straight, toes are pointed. Now you will want to hold the leg, this is the front leg on your splits. So you're going to grasp that leg behind the back of your thigh. So hold the back of your thigh, brilliant, with your toes pointed. Keep your toes pointed and slowly straighten that knee until you feel a gentle stretching sensation down the back of the leg. Then flex your foot and bend your knee so your heel moves closer to the back of your thigh. Super. We'll do 30 seconds worth of that. So you point your toes, straighten your knees, then flex your foot and bend your knee. Beautiful, girls. Nice, smooth, fluid movements. Only go as far as you can until you feel a gentle stretching sensation. Don't push into pain. We just want to loosen these hamstrings a little bit before we slide down into some split work. Super stuff. Can everyone feel that stretching gently at the back of their hamstrings? Brilliant. One more repetition and then we'll start to loosen up our hip flexors. Brilliant. Okay, girls, so now we need to be in a kneeling lunge position. So your front leg will be the same as the front leg in your splits, and the other leg will be behind you. And if you take a look at the girls, you're going to be in a 90-90 position. So your front knee is positioned over your ankle and your back knee is positioned directly under your hip. Stay here and squeeze those glute muscles together. So squeeze those bottom cheeks and at the same time, pull in your tummy muscles, and you should feel a very gentle stretching sensation come down the front of the hip. And we're just going to hold this for a few seconds with our shoulders nice and square, looking straight ahead. Amazing. Now take the same arm that's at the side of your back leg and lift that arm up by your ear. Keep your bottom muscles squeezed and your tummies nice and tight whilst you pulse this arm backwards and forwards slightly. And this should give you an extra stretch down the front of that hip and thigh. Keep sucking in gently through those tummy muscles and ensure your bottom muscles are squeezed. Brilliant. Keep that going. Amazing, girls. Beautiful positions. Now, to add a little bit more stretch, we're going to keep that arm glued by your ear, and then you're going to side bend your body towards the side of your front leg. So if you're in a right leg lunge position, you'll side bend to the right. If you're in a left leg lunge position, you'll side bend to the left. So keep that arm glued by your ear. You bend slightly to one side and come up to the middle. That's it. And you should feel a little bit of an extra stretch. So keep your body up nice and tall. Tummy muscles sucked in and squeezed and bottom muscles squeezed. Your head stays looking in front and you want that arm glued right up by your ear. Brilliant. Okay. One more. Keep that arm up by your ear. So take that hand a little bit further back for me, Frank. Brilliant. Pull that tummy in, and now you're going to pulse your back foot up and down off the floor without letting your back arch or slouch. So keep your stomach muscles tight and just tap your back leg on and off the floor so your knee bends a little bit more. Your heel, you'll find, moves slightly closer to your bottom, but what we don't want to lose is this beautiful upright shape. Amazing, girls. Can you feel that gives you a little bit of extra stretch down the front of your back leg thigh? Super. Now, let's move on. So we're going to place both hands on your front thigh. You're going to take that front leg a little bit further forwards. And you're going to push your back hip forwards, but still pull in through your tummy muscles and keep those bottom muscles squeezed. And we'll hold that position there. Excellent. Very nice, girls. Heads up, eyes straight in front. Trying to make a straight line from your front knee to your back knee without your hips twisting, without your back arching. Fantastic. Now, what you are going to do is place the hand which is on the side of your back leg down by your front ankle. You're going to lift the other arm up in the air and twist your body towards your front leg. And look towards those fingertips. Keep pushing those hips gently forwards. Good. And come back into the middle. Lift those bodies. And now, if you can, use one hand to reach back and pull the heel of your back leg towards your bottom, only as far as you can without your hips twisting. So you want to remain nice and square in your shoulders and your hips with your stomach muscles pulled in, bottom muscles slightly squeezed. And relax. Brilliant. So now I think we're warmed up enough to use our CantiLeiver Hip Flex Stretches. So this is the point where if you have one, grab it for us. That's it. And you're going to go into a lunge position with the back leg of your splits bent and into your hip flex. Your front knee is also bent. Rest your hands on the top of your thigh. Make sure your front toes are facing forwards and the middle of your kneecap follows the middle of your foot. Draw up through your tummy muscles, squeeze your glutes together gently and push that back hip forwards. Super. So we feel a stretching sensation come down the front of the thigh and the back leg. Amazing. Now, when you're ready, you can bring your hands down towards your side and slowly lower only as far as feels comfortable towards splits on that front leg. We need your kneecaps pointing towards the ceiling, your toes pointing straight ahead, and your hips nice and square. So you don't want to feel that you're twisting to one side or the other. So if you can't get all the way down, that's absolutely fine. Only lower as far as feels comfortable. Remember, it's better to do something well than badly. We want to create beautiful straight square splits. Amazing. Now, to make that more challenging, if that feels comfortable, you can then reach your hands back for either your hip flex stretch bars, or if you have a sofa behind you, reach back. Keep these cores engaged. Try not to arch your backs, and this should add a little gentle stretch. Brilliant. If you were super flexible, then you could lift your head up and look towards the ceiling as if we're going for a ring, jump or leap, and add further work and difficulty into that stretching position. Brilliant. Think about those hips being square, girls, front knee being beautifully tight and toes pointed. Amazing. That's brilliant, girls. Okay, you can have a stand up.
Thanks everyone for a great session. It was brilliant. Don't forget, we're going to be running the giveaway all week and the winner will be picked at random from social media posts tagging CantiLeiver and Rejuvenate8Physio. Use the hashtag strength and stretch. Can't wait to see them all. Thanks, bye.